Hello again. This is the third critique, paintover, collaboration, whatever you want to call it, that I'm doing, and it's for Seeks, Seeeks, on DeviantArt, and please check out their work. The one I'm doing is Suman, and it's I think it's from a story or a game. I didn't look into the backstory of this one, but here we go. They've already redrawn this, which is why I chose it. Seeks asked me to choose which painting to paint over, and I chose it because I knew they'd worked on it for longer, and then I thought they might value it more. So, yeah. I am painting over this how I would do it for myself, so I did change it a lot. I'm just warning you. It doesn't mean, I said this before, but it doesn't mean that I think it's better or worse. It's just the way I would have done it if I was painting the same thing, the same subject. So, yeah. So first thing I do is figure out, again, the gesture, pose, whatever you want to call it. The head looked too small to me, and the muscle on his right arm, it looked kind of lumpy in weird places, especially on his bicep. It looks like it's kind of sagging down. For the face, I thought his nose seemed really big. I don't know if that's part of the story. I hope it's okay. I just totally changed it. I tried to keep the same hairstyle and beard and all that, but I did change his nose quite a bit. And the part where his forehead goes in front of his eye, it's very pinched, like it goes in a lot. It's kind of makes it look cartoony. Maybe that's what you wanted, but I did change that also. Used a lot more yellows and reds and pinks in the skin. You did do that to an extent, but they're still like really more gray, and which is okay. I mean, if you want the painting to look grayer because it's kind of gloomy scene, you said that before, that's fine. I just wanted to add a little more color. I think he became a lot bigger also. At the end I shrink him down a little bit. Had his legs kind of holding his arm up, like he's leaning against it on both sides actually. That's really like a natural pose. So I tried to keep that with my version. That's a good way of putting it. It's my version of what you did. It's not like, because I just repainted it. It's not, I can't really call it a paint over because I repainted it. I had a hard time redoing it, so I looked at some reference, which I didn't show, but I did look at reference to fix it. I think that's a really good thing to do. I don't do it enough. When you first start out, just find the reference and it'll save you so much. In fact, you very kindly took pictures of your own hand for my reference, so you should know this. It helped a lot. It saves hours of frustration, and as you can see, I am painting over the entire figure now. Because of frustration, I just gave up and I was like, okay, I can't. I'll just look at yours and redraw it how I think you wanted to do it. In the end, it became a slightly different pose, but hopefully it is at least interesting to watch. He's more like cozy, like he's really more relaxed, kind of curled up with whatever he's working on. I think he's wrapping a sword handle. I'm not sure. Or he's making a fire. The arm, his left arm It's pretty good. I really liked the angle of the hand, and the thumb was really nice. So I tried to keep that the same. Again, the way to make it seem like it's further away and kind of separate it from the clothes and the other arm is to make it darker, just because it would be in shadow. Unless, of course, you had a light source on that side, but you can't really tell where the light's coming from, so I just chose to make it darker. It just helps with the, I guess, the composition, making it clearer read. Right now it looks way too small and weird, but it gets better, I promise. If I remember correctly, you said that he was used to a warmer climate, and then suddenly he was forced to be on a ship in the cold, so he has to, and there's no clothes, so he has to wear this dress or something, so I hope I got that right. I did change the angle of his feet, which makes him look more like he's in a, like curled up, like a little baby, but it could be either way. I just thought it was a little bit symmetrical on yours, so I just changed it. Feet are really hard to draw though. Like if you look at the straps on your shoes, it's like very continuous, so I wanted to break that up a little bit. Also, I'm not sure if it was on purpose, but his hair at the top gets really light in one spot. Maybe it looks like he's balding. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but I did remove that also. And I gave him a little more color in his hair. I think that you said you had problems with your colors being too soft. I don't really know how to fix that other than using more saturated colors. Like, don't be afraid to use stronger colors. Then they'll be less muddy, like they're more different from each other, so they don't kind of blend together too much when you don't want them to. Sometimes you want that. But like if everything is sort of in the gray area, if you look at the Photoshop color panel on the right, you see where the little circle is. The only part that changes when you move up and down the color band is the right upper corner. The color changes, but if you're in the gray area all the time and you just change the color, it's still like really gray. So that might be what your problem is. I'm not sure though. I'm not really good with color. I'm just learning. For the most part, I only used black and white until I started learning digital art maybe 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago. So I'm definitely still learning. But YouTube is really good for it. I think I shared my composition playlist with you, and I'm really glad that you thought it was helpful. And I was gonna make maybe a color one too, and then like have different playlists so people can check it out. And I'll make a journal post on DeviantArt for it, because it's hard to, like, if you know exactly what you want, you can YouTube it, but sometimes you just want to generally know about color or composition, and you like don't even know what you don't know. So, and then finding like an artist that's actually good and like knows what they're talking about can be hard. It takes time. So it's cool to have a playlist. Somebody you should definitely look at, who I probably told you about already, is Marco Bucci. He makes 10 minutes to better painting videos, and they're really good. Like, he is amazing with color. When I learned how to draw feet, I mostly copied Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci's paintings and drawings, because I just liked their work so much. And if you notice, they really emphasize that the smaller toes bend. Like, they're not just straight, and it just makes it look way better. I don't know why. just try it out. I think it makes it look less stiff, and in reality, if you stand in a natural position, I don't know how to explain it, just look at your own foot and you'll see what it looks like, and it just looks better when you show them bent, even just slightly. I've never done snow before, so I just tried using a brush that had lots of speckles in different sizes and then erased out bits that I didn't want. I wanted it to look more uniform, like you have very clear cutout pieces, which, you know, may happen in real life, but that was just what I wanted to do. And at the end, I used different adjustment layers on the whole image, like all the layers flattened. It's usually a good idea to play around with at least curves and levels, brightness and contrast, just to see if you can do that one extra step that'll make it look better. And then at the very end, I fixed his hand a little bit because I felt like his wrist was funny. I think it looked pretty good. I kind of ended up liking the right arm that I was struggling with so much in the end. But it's still a little weird, like his elbow's weird, but the shoulder looks pretty good, I think. Yeah, it was really fun. I did make the mountains a lot bigger in the background because I thought it would look more impressive. I raised if you see where your banister is, it's like in the middle of the land that's closer to us, and it kind of hides the water line, so I raised the water line above the bar so that you can see it above. Like, the water line means like where the water hits the shoreline, hits the land, just so it's a little more clear. And then I added a little more snow on the balustrade, and that was really fun. I've never done snow before. It's really fun. This is what I like so much about these paintovers, is it really forces me to do things that I never would have thought of doing. And I feel pretty stuck in painting right now, so this is really helping, and I learned so much from these. So thanks so much for letting me use your work, and I hope it was helpful, or at least fun to watch. And sorry for my weird narrated stuff. I don't script these, so I just talk. I watch the video and I just talk over what I think is going on, and maybe I should write some notes. But actually, I don't have that much to say. You can see what I'm doing. It's much easier to see it. I also like the way that you had the shadows on the dress, like the dark part under his arm, and then it gets light on his stomach and light behind his arm. I thought that made it look really good, but I couldn't quite remake that the way you did. It was really nice. Maybe because of the position that I changed, it just didn't work. I didn't add in the detail of the planks back in because I thought at least on the wall, I thought it kind of flattened everything a little bit, because you don't have them getting smaller as they get further away. Maybe you wouldn't because it's not that long of a distance, but it just feels kind of over simple and kind of cartoony a little bit compared to the rest of it. So I just made some really loose lines to hint at that it's made out of wood and it's kind of rough. Same with the flooring. I could have gone into more detail, but yeah. The thing is, the first paintover I did was just a figure, which is a lot easier than doing a whole scene. So this takes much longer which is fine. I'm just saying it doesn't get as refined as I could. Yeah. Let me know what you think, and if there's any more specific stuff you want done, or like for the next one, please let me know when you submit your painting. And okay, see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.